Hi everyone, Ben Minos here, physiotherapist and personal trainer from the Courage Corner. I'm going to be discussing today a method of training called Escalating Density Training. And it's something that I did promise a lot of you a fair few months ago that I'll be covering, but I just haven't gotten around to doing it just yet. So I really wanted to cover that today, and hopefully by the end of today you guys will have enough to then go and have a go of it yourself and let me know what you think about the training method as a whole. Now, escalating density training, or EDT training, was developed by a gentleman by the name of Charles Staley, and he wrote a whole book about it probably a bit over 10 years ago now. And it was something that I discovered a lot when I was doing a lot of kettlebell training. And the reason why it was so effective with kettlebell training was because it measured progress in a different way. Now, normally everyone measures their progress by how much weight they're lifting, and the emphasis always is on, am I getting stronger? Am my 1RM, is that increasing? And the reason why we couldn't do that with kettlebells was because the kettlebell was a fixed weight. So we really had to come up with different methods of progression and how we measured progressive overload. And escalating density was a really effective training method where it didn't measure progress and took the focus off that 1RM sort of thing. Now, I've talked a lot of it in the past. When it comes to hypertrophy, it's not always just about the strength. So the king with hypertrophy usually is volume. Now, there's two main criteria that I've written about in the past as well. The weight needs to be heavy enough for your body to care, okay? So there is a minimum threshold, or there seems to be. And second to that, you need to do enough work on that weight for your body to make an adaptation. And escalating density training ticks both of those boxes. So I'm going to cover it here real quick with you. And to start with, what you normally do is you set yourself what they call a PR zone, or a personal record zone. And we're just going to start with 15 minutes. So our PR zone is going to be 15 minutes. And normally you choose somewhere in between sort of 15 to 20 minutes. So 15 minutes I found sort of works the best. Now, you take two opposing exercises, antagonistic exercises. So we're going to use the example of biceps and triceps. So you label one as A1, the other one as A2, and you're going to be alternating between those two exercises. So just for the sake of argument today, we're going to be using easy bar curls. And we'll just use skull crushers so you can move easily between those two. Now, you've got a bicep and a tricep exercise that you're going to be alternating between and going back and forth with over that 15 minutes, which is your personal record zone. You take a weight that is approximately, well, not approximately, try and get as close to your 10 repetition maximum as possible, because that way at least it's going to be about a 75% of your 1RM, so easily exceeding that minimum threshold, but allows you to do enough work with it, enough volume. So your 10 rep max, but you're only going to be doing 1 to 5 repetitions per set. So you don't want to fatigue, you don't want to reach failure, so you're not going to be doing too high reps. So usually cap at about 5, and that's a good place to sort of start. So the idea is over the course of these 15 minutes, you're going to be back and forth, rest only as you feel like you need to, and you're going to perform as much work as possible in that 15 minutes, okay? And you can document it like this. So just say you did a set of easy bar curls and you got 5. Rested for a little bit, and then you went and did some skull crushers, also for a set of 5. Now, you keep going back and forth and keep going back and forth, and you might just sit there crossing them off as you go. Towards the end, though, you might start to get a little bit of fatigue, and with that, you might only be getting sort of 3 reps out. And with the triceps, just say you got 2, and then by the end, you got 1 and 1, okay? Now, once the 15 minutes is up, boom, that's it, tools down, that's done, okay? Then you tally up how many repetitions you got in that 15 minutes. So here we got 5, 10, and we got 14 out on the easy curls, and here we got 13 out on the skull crushers. That then becomes your personal record. Your only goal for next workout is to beat that score, okay? And if you beat that score, you've now increased the density of that training session. You've performed more work in the same amount of time. You've given your body a stimulus to increase size, okay? And this is why it is the perfect program. It's very self-regulating, okay? Usually when you've increased, and you'll be surprised at how well you can do. So there'll be some sessions you sit there and go, there's no way I'm going to beat this next time, but somehow you manage to beat it. When you've increased this number by, say, in between sort of 10 to 20%, and normally your numbers actually get a little bit higher, so you'll probably end up doing, say, 44 or 53 or something like that. So just say I've increased that up to about from 44 up to 50 reps, for example. Now it's time to increase the weight slightly, and don't make too big of a jump in weight. But then your numbers obviously will go down because the weight's heavier, but you start again and you build it back up. Now, that's only 15 minutes, so what I recommend is you've got A1 and A2, okay? You've done that, you've done your 15 minutes. Rest for a few minutes, but then you're going to set up B1 and B2. And for here, just say we use preacher curls and push downs. And you just do the same thing again. Get your 10 rep maximum weight, do 1 to 5 reps with it, go back and forth for your 15 minutes, record it all down, and then you've got your totals, which become your own personal record. So escalating density training is that in a nutshell. Now, what I recommend is give it a go for a few weeks, okay? And just do it on Arms Day, so Universal Arms Day, Friday. Give it a go and see what sort of numbers you sort of knock out. And then the following week, just try and beat those numbers. Try and do that for a few weeks in a row, and let me know how you go and let me know how you progress. You can do it with other muscle groups, or normally what we've done in the past is we've experimented with different movement pattern-based training. So we'll do something like a vertical push, vertical pull. So we're doing push presses and then chins, for example. The only problem that we found with that is it was quite taxing and quite fatiguing, especially when it comes to something like when you're alternating squats with something, or it might be squats and lying leg curl. So it tends to work a little bit better with arms because you set yourself a challenge and you can beat it. So if you're looking to get a fantastic sort of pump, really good results as far as size goes. If you're a bit more adventurous, give it a go with some of the larger muscle groups. Usually you'll look at push-pull or antagonistic muscle groups. Don't do it with like supersetting with the same muscle group. This is designed to be a back and forth. But yeah, have a go at that, see how you go with it, and please let me know if, well, success or lack thereof with the program. So we've found in the past that we've had great success in making those improvements, but it's not something that we've been able to stick to for weeks on end. So it gets quite fatiguing towards the end, and we always like to change up our training methods anyway. So that's escalating density training. I'm sorry it took me so long to get around to it, but yeah, give it a go and let me know how you guys go. And in the future, I'll be covering different training methods as well, and hopefully different ideas that you guys can implement into your own training to help get the variation there, but still have good fundamental techniques for building size and strength.